Jim Carrey is becoming a Christian and no one is talking about it. But before we get into that, my name is Elijah and I make videos about faith that engages the culture for Jesus. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. So let's get right into the video.
Jim Carrey is one of the most famous actors in Hollywood and one of the funniest men of all time. But in recent years, his life has changed completely. His face, always marked by funny faces, has taken on a sad look, and his words, always filled with jokes at every moment, now carry serious and profound messages that make people wonder what is happening to this man. Has he gone mad? In today's video, we are going to find answers to these questions and understand the journey that brought Jim Carrey to this point in his life, where he seems to have left behind the man who lived inside a comedy movie character 24 hours a day, to become who he was truly called to be in this world. What you will see in this video will surprise you, and at the end, I will show you a testimony from Jim Carrey himself that I am sure will impact your life.
So yeah guys, Jim Carrey for some reason changed a lot and we're trying to figure out why. Is it because of Jesus? Has Jesus changed his life and has made him into a new person and God is just working in his life and now he's not making those crazy jokes anymore? Or is this something else?
He was always seen making jokes and acting like a real character, making everyone laugh. But why was Jim Carrey like that? Why was he always seen as funny? Was it a trait of his personality, or was Jim Carrey trying to convey a message or even hide something from people? To understand why Jim Carrey was always funny, we need to go back in time. Jim was born in a small town in Canada called Newmarket in January 1962, the youngest of a family of 4 siblings. Son of a singer who did not achieve the success she hoped for, and a musician who had to give up his career on stage to support the family in a regular job, Jim grew up seeing his mother always sick. She became addicted to painkillers and developed a mental illness that made her believe she could die at any moment. Out of fear of losing his mother, little Jim Carrey started doing comedy to try to cheer her up a bit.
Oh wow, that's crazy that he started doing comedy to cheer her up. So there's usually a lot of times the things that we do in our life is all based off of what we have done in our past or things that we've experienced, like a childhood trauma, things that we've experienced that caused us to act a certain way because of whatever reason possible. So yeah, that totally makes sense why he would feel the need to be funny, to make people laugh, and that's the way he can make his mom feel better.
The boy dedicated all his time to making his mother smile so that life would be easier for her. It was in this context that Jim Carrey's first comedy performances emerged. The actor grew up closed off and lonely, so creativity became his only friend. He painted, wrote poetry, and made faces in front of the mirror. In an interview, he admitted that the mirror was his only friend and didn't know what socializing was. Sometime later...
Wow, he didn't know what socializing was? I mean, to be honest, people who are alone usually are the people who are the most creative.
He realized he could also make other people laugh, such as family acquaintances and school friends. Young Jim Carrey got so good at pleasing others with his interpretations, jokes, and faces that he was allowed by the school to give a 15-minute performance every day in his classroom.
He did a 15-minute performance every day in his classroom? That's insane. I thought maybe it would be like the school talent show or something, but every day? That's crazy.
Jim's father lost his job, and they were evicted from their home, having to live in a van for a while until they found a new home in the United States. During this time, Jim Carrey realized he could use comedy to lift his family out of misery. So he dedicated himself more and more to making people laugh. And it worked. After starting in stand-up comedy,
So that's also really interesting. Like, I know that being poor in my family and not having enough money to pay the phone bill or to buy food at certain times has really affected me and how I interact with people, and things that cause me to get anxiety or to worry, or the things that drive me is because a lot of the times in my past is the things that I've experienced just really affected me that way, and that makes total sense.
He moved to cinema and became one of the greatest actors Hollywood has ever known. But besides money, success, awards, and all the fame, Jim Carrey understood that to stay where he had arrived, he needed to keep entertaining and amusing people all the time. And more than that, the humor industry is entirely geared toward the opinions of us, and his job depends on the positive judgment of people. That's why he became the man who always made jokes wherever he was. He became a reflection of what society wanted and expected him to be. Time passed until the moment came when Jim Carrey began to fight an internal battle with himself. It was when he stopped being the clown everyone was used to seeing and went through a very profound change. He fell into depression, and this influenced even the work he chose to do. The funny characters who made everyone laugh gave way to more serious ones with deep stories that made the audience reflect on life. In the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Jim tells the story of a man frustrated with his love life and in depression, exactly as he was living at that moment. His performance during the recordings was so good that the film's director asked him not to treat his psychological problem until the end of that work. After that, Jim appeared less and less in...
Wow, that's insane. So he was trying to portray what he was really going through, which so many people go through, and they try to mask it. They try to hide it behind comedy, and they try to pretend like everything is okay, but really deep down inside, they're not. They're hurting, they're pain, and there's this hole inside. And a lot of times it's because they are missing Jesus. They're missing what God has called them to do. They're missing a relationship with Jesus. And that's sad. And a lot of times people eventually, they try to fill the void. They chase all of these things. They think that these things will truly make them happy, but really it makes them feel depressed, even more depressed and sad. So
media, and he decided to deepen his search for his true identity. During this process, he also lost his ex-girlfriend, Catriona White, who took her own life 5 days after breaking up with Jim. All this made the actor even more desperate for answers about life. At this moment of deep pain, Jim Carrey found Jesus, the only truth capable of freeing human beings from the bonds that the world imposes and the slavery that society imposes for us to be accepted. From then on, the man who dedicated his life to pleasing everyone now spoke to the world what he believed to be the truth. This became very clear in an interview before an award show in the United States. Let's watch it together.
Wait, tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
No. I'm doing just fine. I just, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
They're selling
whoa, throwing shades at the award ceremony. Wow. That's true though. Like, a lot of people put so much emphasis and so much meaning into these awards, but really they just collect dust at the end of the day.
I gotta admit, it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons,
in
boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. Do you believe in icons? I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry? You're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! Yeah. You shut her down now.
That was weird. She's like,
Notice the reporter's reaction while Jim Carrey was talking about the futility of the entertainment world. She looks at the camera with astonishment and disapproval, as if saying to the audience, "Look, folks, he's going crazy. I'm not like him. I don't belong to this madness. I'm like you." Besides, he decided to sacrifice his career.
yeah, literally. It's funny, yeah, everyone seems to be like, I'm the one who's not crazy. That's how they cancel people. Like, everyone, let's cancel this person so they don't cancel me.
Hollywood to reveal the dark secrets of the entertainment industry, such as the influences of the Illuminati. In various public appearances, including the famous Jimmy Kimmel Live show, Jim Carrey made symbolic gestures and spoke openly about what he called the Illuminati's secret symbol. He claimed that the government hired many in the entertainment industry to distract and manipulate the public. He also dared to say that these decisions were made in secret meetings controlled by hidden forces. Because of this attitude, many people created theories that Jim Carrey had gone crazy and that something was wrong with the actor. But the great truth is that Jim Carrey had felt something in his heart. He realized that he needed to renounce the image and character he carried to fulfill his true mission. So he began to free himself from all the labels that had accompanied him throughout his career. And more than that, Jim Carrey started dedicating his life to social converted Christian faces. After all, the enemy knows how precious this man's life is to God, and how this actor can impact the world if he decides to speak about the love of Christ to other people. I want to share a snippet of testimony from Jim Carrey, who discusses his relationship with God. Check it out with me.
And ultimately, I believe that suffering leads to salvation. And in fact, it's the only way. That we have to somehow accept, not deny, but feel our suffering and feel our losses. And then we make one of two decisions. We either decide to go through the gate of resentment, which leads to vengeance, which leads to self-harm, which leads to harm to others, or we go through the gate of forgiveness, which leads to grace. And your being here is an indication that you've made that decision already. You've made the decision to walk through the gate of forgiveness to grace, just as Christ did on the cross. He suffered terribly, and he was broken by it to the point of doubt and a feeling of absolute abandonment, which all of you felt. And then there was a decision to be made. And the decision was to look upon the people who were causing that suffering, or the situation that was causing that suffering, with compassion and with forgiveness. And that's what opens the gates of heaven for all of us. So I wish that for all of you. I wish that for myself. I know that.
And I hope you guys really are encouraged by this and know that, like, don't put on a mask. Don't try to hide your feelings and try to put aside this emptiness. Just like Jim Carrey, he tried to fill all the voids that he longed for as a child. He tried to fill every problem, and nothing would satisfy him. Nothing would be there for him when his ex would die. Nothing would be there for him while he was dealing with depression and pain. But when he turned to Jesus, that's the thing that truly satisfied him. That's the thing that truly set him free. And through Jesus forgiving him, dying on the cross, the suffering that he went through to set him free. So I encourage you guys to go to Jesus today and know that he loves you so much and he has an amazing plan for your life. And I hope you guys know that he loves you so much. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below your thoughts and opinions. And if you are interested in this video right here, it's really similar to this one. I hope you have an amazing day. Go ahead and watch it. Peace.